Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us here in Extia Spain today for this presentation on the impact of artificial intelligence on UX. We are Juan Daniel, and Caterina. We are the UI UX team here in Extia Iberia, and the three of us are currently working for AXA Group in Barcelona. First of all, before we start, we just want to let you know that we will be covering just the tip of the iceberg on this keynote. As you may know, the AI topic is huge, so it's impossible to cover it in half an hour. And it's even more because it's on development as we speak, so it's very new. However, we think it's very interesting to start this conversation to see what's coming for us as UI UX designers regarding AI. So this is what you can expect. First, we will talk about the way we approach technology and how it's changing with AI. Then we will talk about the role of us UX designers in all of this. Then we will point out some risks that we are facing now with this new approach. And at the end, of course, we will have time for some questions. So feel free to save those for later. Now to start, I will talk about how AI is changing the way we approach technology. And basically, this new approach, it's a new paradigm. So right now, the paradigm of how we use technology is that we input commands into a screen, and we expect an output from the machine. But with AI, now we are not. The input is not going to be commands, but data, and this data is going to be processed by algorithms, which will try to start a conversation with us. For us, that means that we need to get personal as designers because we have to prepare for dynamic experiences. And it's going to be totally different from what we are used today. Because before, what we were used to is, for example, if you are asking for an Uber, then you press a button. That's a command, and basically the interface is giving you an answer that was previously defined by a group of people, including designers, developers, business leads, etc. But in the future, all these answers are going to be made on the fly by the algorithm. So it's going to be dynamic, and not even us preparing the experience will know what it's going to happen for the users. So we need to be careful about that. But to make it more clear, let's see a practical example about McDonald's. Let's say that after this meeting, you go to your nearest McDonald's, and this is what you will find when you arrive. It's a screen, and right now we are used to order all the food in McDonald's using one of these screens. But right now, all this experience is static, meaning that no matter who we are, if it's Juan Daniel, Caterina, or me, all of us will see the same burgers, the same order, the same menus, and we will have basically the same experience. But McDonald's, it's working on a new way to approach this experience, and of course, it's powered by AI. And basically, what they are doing is testing an algorithm that can offer you personalized menus and items. And it's doing it because it consumes data such as your personal preferences, the time of the day, the weather, and even local events. So basically, this means that they will know how you want your burger even before you are thinking about that. So it's kind of crazy that it's going to be like this, but this is what we believe it's going to be the standard in the near future for interfaces. But now let's talk about data. Data, it's the core of artificial intelligence, because data, it's what we use to train machine learning algorithms. So basically, if we don't have data, we cannot have AI. And this could explain why we are storing more data than ever as humans. And it's not only the steps or your heartbeats that we are used to on an Apple Watch, for example, but even consuming habits stored by fridges are being stored and sent back to companies that are using all this data to create algorithms for all kinds of stuff. But what this means for us as designers, well, even though this data is the fuel, we cannot forget about the users. The users cannot be lost in a sea of endless data. We need to make sure that we point out what's important and cast aside the information that is not relevant for the experience. And what's more, it's important to let the users know that AI is not magic. That's risky for us because, as we are seeing right now, for example, with ChatGPT, everyone thinks that that's magic, but it's not. It's just an algorithm processing data. And it's risky because at the end, you have the problem. Let's say an example. For example, near in the future, you will be interacting with AI to take all kinds of decisions. Simple ones, such as asking how is the weather, but complex ones as well. So it's risky to let people know that this is magic and it's some kind of god that it's going to be 100% right all the time, because it's not like this. So now that we are starting, it's important to educate the people, to let them know that this is not magic; it's just technology. But to avoid this risk, we also have to make sure that all these algorithms are empathic, and this needs to be a priority, because the problem right now is that algorithms are struggling to be empathic with us and show emotion, and that's what makes us human. If you think about Siri, for example, or Alexa, or any voice assistant, you can ask them whatever you want. It doesn't matter. They will give you an answer, but they don't care if you are happy, if you are upset, if you are sad. They will just give you the answer, and that's the end of the flow. But in the future, we have to think about how the machine learning it's going to interact with us, the users, in a more human way. And this point also opens a new conversation that is happening right now for us designers, and it's what if human-centered design, which is the standard for us right now to approach the design of any service, is not the best approach anymore. So some experts are talking about something called more than human design approach, which basically means that we have to take into account the alien intelligence that AI is providing to us and combine this with our human intelligence, and this will open new paths to experiences between humans and machines. And lastly, before passing to Juan Daniel, I just want to point out that now more than ever in history, our profession, the UX profession, it's open to all kind of professional backgrounds, because the only way to ensure that we give a good experience to the user is teaming up with scientists, sociologists, psychologists, and many more professions that will help us to understand better the human needs and dreams.
Now, the artificial intelligence has changed the rules of the design thinking process, supported by this intelligence on many stages of this. Here you can find some of the most important stages of the design research that are the discovery, the empathy, the accessibility, the prototyping, and the matching, the measuring and matching. In some of these aspects, the artificial intelligence is just a machine that will help us and support us because we put the requirements to, for example, look for some data, look for some information about our customers, but also it'll help us to matching with the users that are perfectly for our research or the interviews that we need to have at the moment. And now here's a good example of how artificial intelligence works with us to give us support. Optimal Workshop is an online tool that empowers our research by using the design thinking process. As you can see in the image, this is the car sorting. It's a it's a method that we use to understand how users will organize and structure the ideas in the way that they make sense to them, not for us. So it's something that is really important now on the process. And also as a designer, we use several data tools that manage and organize this information, and with this tool, we can go through all of these numbers, identifying stored cards and pairing with potential. Before these tools, we were trying to reach our customer, trying to do some interviews, and then we will try to, with all this information, try to make sense and use this to market opportunity or create some improvements on the project. But right now, this tool give us all of this information instantly. And now I wanted to ask you to everyone, like, artificial intelligence is the real protagonist here, because right now the intelligence gave us all the statistics that we needed. So they took, for example, for websites, networks, mobile apps, and give us to all. But we need to take in consideration that all of this information is not 100 accurate. So we need to adapt this information to our requirements. And also, it is important that we, as a designers, the final decision is ours and regarding the best for the user. That means that the user needs to be aware about these decisions that we make, because something that the artificial intelligence doesn't have is that they don't have emotion. They don't care about if we are feeling sad or we're happy or we're something else, because this is the best thing that we need to think. As a designers, we have the decision to improve the products or the objects that we need to create. So right now, emphasizing the emotional side of user has always been considered the key of generation solutions as our principal role as a UX designers. And now we're going to continue with Katerina to talk about the risk of artificial intelligence.
Thank you, Juan Daniel. Okay, I will now talk to you guys about the risks of AI. It's okay. Don't get scared. Okay, so again, like Juan Esteban and Juan Daniel have said, AI can do wonderful things and it can help us in so many ways that we can't even imagine yet, no? But we cannot forget that the A in AI is for artificial. So don't forget AI is a tool and we should be able to work with it, not solely depend on just AI. Imagine like back in the day, we had to memorize phone numbers or maps, and now if our phone dies, it's like the end of the world, no? I mean, I still remember my parents' number, but still, again, there's a huge lack of embedded human ethics in all of these algorithms. And this could lead to all of us in a deep rabbit hole of extreme ideologies sometimes. The reasons why? Well, because again, like my teammates have said, data feeds the algorithm in order for the algorithm to learn and grow, just like how food fuels our bodies. So whatever we are eating, either we get tall, big, small, healthy, unhealthy. So the data is also really important to consider what kind of data. Then we have some small examples. I'm going to show you a lot of examples, no, real world examples, but some examples that you guys are probably familiar with are YouTube, which is auto playing videos. You don't have to click anything, and it's just playing these videos based on what they think is your interests, based on what you're looking at, what you're favoriting. Netflix, same thing, no? So the algorithm is constantly learning based on your data. And then now Netflix provides a recommendations section that they think that you might like. And so, you know, it's just things to consider, no? How are companies using our data? Do we always want personalized content? Or do we also maybe want to start thinking for ourselves? Because in the end, there are a few examples that I'm going to show you that are examples of extremism, no? So, for example, January 6th, I think everyone knows what happened, the Capitol riots. And right after Joe Biden won the election, Facebook or Meta, they had all of these measures controlling hate speech, fake news, any kind of deceptive content. And so the minute Joe Biden won the election, they removed all of these measures. And so from November to January 6th, there was enough time to build quite a few hate groups to create this incredible event where thousands of Trump supporters attacked the Capitol of the US, thinking that that the election was fraud. And on that day, there were some reports. There was the most reports that there was of false news hitting at 40,000 per hour in Facebook, just in that day alone. Aside from Facebook, YouTube as well has been reports of YouTube pushing extreme content and videos and misinformation, conspiracy theories. This is based on a report by Mozilla, but out of all of these video reports that users flagged, 71% were recommended by YouTube. So it's not like someone is searching. That's one example. Another example is the Amazon recruiting. So there was a team of developers in 2014. These developers wanted to help the human resource department. And the goal was to mechanize the search of top talent. So one of the employees, for example, said everyone wanted this. This was like the holy grail, no? You give You give the system 100 resumes, and it just calculates everything and gives you the top 5. And these are the top 5 that we could hire. But 4 years later, Amazon realized that they need to shut down this system because based on the historical data it was trained on, the system was basically biased against women. So it was excluding, or it was removing as an option, women candidates because they had things, for example, in their resume, such as the women's chess club, or they are studying in an all-women's college. So again, these models were trained by observing patterns of the resumes that were submitted to the company from the past 10 years. So it's real data, but obviously we have a history of, anyway, most came from men. Yeah. So these are just ways of considering data. Here's another one. So these 2 developers were creating this program for a hackathon, but the idea was to help the police department create basically a program that was creating hyper-realistic portraits for the police, because the police are sketching, no? When the witness describes who they saw or who they think that they saw. And so they wanted to save time because the real sketching takes like 2-3 hours. So they wanted to save time. But in the end, this can cause some serious problems. First of all, the program was in collaboration with Dolly 2, which is from the OpenAI. And so this is a technology that is already existing. You can just look it up and search anything, and it gives you some image that's made from artificial intelligence, as you can see in the top right corner. And so this program was basically asking for you to fill out from a template. And so the witness will tell you, oh, gender, age, skin color, hair, eyebrows, eyes, or there's an option for open description. But the problem is usually these witnesses, their memory is really hazy. And so if you're giving, it's hard for a witness to think specific feature by feature. And on top of it, if this system is giving such a hyper realistic image, then sometimes they just say, yes, that's the person. And of course, there's already a lot of bias in the police department. And as you can see, here's an example of Dolly 2. If you ask Dolly 2 to give me a photograph of a gang member, as you can see, immediately it goes to Black or Latinos. And already without this technology, eyewitnesses have made many mistakes, contributing to 69% of wrongful convictions. So this can worsen the problem, if anything. This is not already working with the police, but this is a topic that they are already discussing. But it's okay, it's not too late, don't worry. The important part is, you need to consider all of this information, no? And you need to really think about users, the future, what is it going to look like? What kind of data do we need to consider? It's not so much about investigating and trying to improve AI quickly. It's more about just really little by little researching properly and testing a lot. And again, CX research, or all of us, I mean, humans, we are vital to ensuring that AI is safe, trustworthy, and ethical. In the end, we are the ones with feelings. So, of course, we should always be in charge of supervising the AI technology, and always consider just not feeding biased data into the system. AI is happening really fast, and it's happening, there's big changes. So we just need to keep up with it and adapt to it.